Welcome back to a series so cringe, even TikTok subscribed. In today's video, streamer Destiny has been reported to the police by YouTuber Willie Mac Show. He's now being accused of being a creep and potentially having illegal material. Destiny has responded denying the accusations. Attorney Legal Mindset has broken down the potential legal implications. Ethan has responded calling out Destiny. Hassan has responded somehow making it about himself? Subscribe or you gotta become a terminally online streamer. Audience quiz, what rhymes with telerig? That's right, Jellywig.
Let's up those numbers!
So it all started over here. Willie Mac Show reported Destiny to the police and dropped a video talking about it. Says that Destiny shared with him underage screen recordings. Bro, you just let me know you still have illegal videos saved to your computer. Right, so from the video, here were the sort of damning screenshots here. That's just absolutely insane to think about him doing all of this if she was 17. If you're sending me this, I'm guessing you still have the video. Depends on why you're asking. But yes, I created a copy of all of the messages and everything when the court case started. Bro, there's been allegations that she was underage and you may have potential, content of her. I have an obligation to preserve relevant evidence. Interesting. That's nuts, man. I don't think I'm allowed to delete it. I don't know if it counts as hiding or destroying evidence. And then we have this screenshot. Bro, you just let me know you still have illegal videos saved to your computer. You knew it was alleged that she was underage. Do you realize how F this is? Destiny responds, I don't even know 100% if her age is legitimately under 18. I'm pretty sure I still have an obligation to preserve stuff related to the court case. I've talked with my lawyer already. If something were to come out of this, I don't know if I'd want to wipe everything and not have something to turn over to the authorities. If hypothetically her boyfriend or whatever was actually doing something bad to her, am I hurting any chance of looking into him by deleting all of this stuff? Right, so that along with the video Willie made is basically what everybody's been talking about, and I don't really like to speculate on this type of stuff. I'd much rather look at a lawyer's legal opinion on all of this, so let's just go straight to Legal Mindset.
Streamer Destiny may be legally trapped as we look at this new scandal when Rose seemingly was confirmed as underage. She was confirmed on a third party as being underage at the time, and when explicit materials being shared with her. So Destiny chose, this is a big deal. He voluntarily engaged with Willie. There was no legal obligation. This was not a deposition. This was not something that was required by any court of law. This is something he did because he just wanted to talk. He just wanted to get it out there. Destiny voluntarily commented, likely without consulting his lawyer. I'm almost certain that he did not talk to his lawyer before he talked to Willie Mac. And he shared a video where Rose, apparently, according to all the data, appeared to be underage at the time. Therefore, he shared an adult video, of course, a piece of it. He didn't share the actual video file itself, but he had the file name and he had a top of the video where she was underage and stated, hey, yeah, I've got this. I've still got this information. I've got this on my computer, right, where this girl is apparently a minor. Therefore, this would be what would appear to be Sam.
Right, so for some reason, Destiny decided to willingly engage in a conversation with Willie Mac Show, admitting to, at best, extremely creepy stuff because, he's a 30-plus-year-old going after, at best case, 18 or something, and at worst case, if the age gets confirmed as underage, then it could be potentially illegal stuff. And I just don't know why a lot of these terminally online streamers always come out to be extreme weirdo creeps, and why every streamer just feels the need to share everything about themselves with everyone, even potential ops, it seems. And you can argue that, oh, this was DMs, this was private, but if you're an influencer, nothing is private, okay? Everything you say at any time, somebody can clip you and put you out on blast. And especially if somebody thinks that you're possibly doing something illegal, they're going to panic and want to report that to the police, of course. Now, Legal Mindset seems to think that Destiny did not talk to a lawyer, and I'm inclined to agree with him on this because it doesn't seem like the right move there. It seems like Destiny just sort of goes off of feeling, and he is a bit of a narcissist, so he probably thinks that he just knows the right move to make in any situation, and this was definitely not the right move. Right, so before we go through the next part, we gotta check out Destiny's response first because Legal Mindset does bring that up, and it turns out he's having a massive crash out on everyone. He is burning the bridge with absolutely everybody. Here are his tweets. Right, here we go. Destiny's response. Almost everything in this DM is wrong. Willie Mack is running cover because he wants to get in with the boys again. 911, sorry, let me call back. My OBS wasn't recording, lol. And Ethan is trying to distance himself from me because he's too weak to deal with Hassan's attacks against him, using me as a vector since he has literally nothing of substance to contribute in this arena. Hassan's lack of intelligence is his biggest insecurity that no amount of finasteride, hair dye, or bathtub photoshoot will compensate for. So basically he's saying that the only reason Ethan is turning on him is not because he thinks he's a weirdo or anything like that. It's because Hassan always uses the excuse of, oh, anyone that criticizes him is a Destiny orbiter or whatever. And I guess Ethan, he's saying that Ethan wanted to distance himself. So Destiny says, I have no illegal material on my computer. I've only compiled with my legal obligations for my court cases. The 60 gigabyte screenshot was related to a claim that Rose person made, someone whose name and birth date have yet to be reliably confirmed. Ethan is literally reading off revenge leaks of mine and giggling, coughing because he's too lazy to use his inhaler, like a regarded child for DMs that had absolutely nothing to do with the Rose leak. Any reference to horrible stuff or anything else was literally in the context of DMs with a 26-year-old British woman. I've never DM'd that Rose person on Instagram in my life. I think Peterson was right. He's referring to Jordan Peterson here. You and Hila deserve all the CPS calls for all the dog shit eating claims and everything else. You deserve zero sympathy from anyone else on the internet when you're so quick to turn around and rely on the same snark shit that's been plaguing you for years as soon as you think it's beneficial. I hope your prior maid takes you for $1 million in her lawsuit against you guys as well. For anyone else watching, you should assume that every single influencer person you meet on the internet is a terrible human being with zero values or principles. See you tomorrow for stream. I mean, he's not wrong about, you know, a portion there. A lot of influencers are bad people, although, again, coming from this guy, you know. He continues, I think Peterson was right. You Zionist and genocide supporter in the United States with loyalty to Israel first, and Hila, IDF maniac night raiding innocent Palestinians in the West Bank because she wasn't seeing enough bloodshed at her desk job, writing pardons for IDF grapists, deserve all the CPS calls for the dog shit eating claims and everything else. You deserve zero sympathy from anyone else. Right, so just summarizing this unhinged rant here, he's pretty pissed at Ethan, guys, it seems like. And yeah, I guess, I don't know if he believes any of the shit. He's probably just saying it to piss off Ethan. Now, Willie Mack, the original accuser here, has responded, I'm not doing this to get in the good graces of your anti-community. I'm doing this because you admitted to me in DMs that you were in possession of illegal material. What you're saying publicly is an entirely different story than our DMs. I have no material on my computer. Weird, because when I asked if Destiny had material, he said, depends why you're asking, and then gave me a bunch of reasons why he can have material on his computer. I will say his responses were very suspicious, all right? If you were asked that question, your answer should be, no, I do not. Fuck you for even asking, right? It's not like, depends on if you're asking, bro. Like, it's just weird, all right? It's weird. If Destiny was telling the truth, why is this podcast anything else on an indefinite hiatus? By the way, we got Destiny's co-host, Dan Saltman, saying, if you've been living under a rock, I step back from A&E, the Anything Else podcast. Thank you to all your support, basically. So, distance himself from Destiny here. Right, so there's also this clip where Destiny is talking about possibly being done.
Another DM leaked, and this one I believe came from JStalk, saying, why would he tread so lightly on this? If she was a legit minor, I'm probably done. So, at least on the 3rd of December, Destiny was aware that this could potentially have career implications on him, and I would hope it would if that is the case. I would hope it would, okay? I could sweep and meme my way through basically anything, even through some of it is really shit, even if some of it is really shitty. Like, think about how stupid this is, though.
Right. I don't know about that, DM. Yeah, that's an interesting statement, that's for sure. Take that as you will, I suppose. Now, Destiny responded, and he basically says that people take him out of context if he says anything, so he's going to avoid saying stuff.
When it comes to ages for hooking up with people in general, I feel like you can play this game, like, regardless of how far you want to go. 18 and older is an adult in the United States. If people are like, oh, you should wait until they're 21, then I feel like it would just move to 21 and older. Like, oh, why are you hooking up with a 21-year-old? Or why are you hooking up with a 23-year-old? Like, listen, if you're an adult, you're an adult. I don't know what the point is of moving the bar on this. If you think that, like, 18 years old is, like, a horrible age of people to hook up, then maybe we can make, like, tax brackets for hookup consent. But whatever, listen, whatever you want to believe what you want, okay? The feds, they're on their way.
Yeah, that's an interesting take considering he has said this before.
When you're 19, you're a little kid, okay? Now, if you're 22, a 19-year-old's not a kid to you, okay? I'm 29. A 19-year-old might as well be a 15-year-old to me. It's all the same, dude. Don't give me this just because of some legal age of consent, whatever bullshit. I have about as much in common with like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old freshman in school as I would a sophomore in high school. Any type of inclination towards any of those people is really weird.
Right. So there's no difference between a 19 and a 15-year-old in your view, and yet you're going after. Okay. Interesting. I mean, it's just your own statements at that point. That's a bit, yeah.
Can you respond to Willie's reply? Because to be honest, your defense is not convincing. Good. I hope it's not. But the reality is literally every single thing I've said has gotten twisted and has gotten morphed or moved to like the most ridiculous shit in the universe. So I'm going to shut up and not talk about this until my court case is over, okay? Because I'm bounded? I'm restricted like 15 different ways from saying stupid. Every single thing I possibly say gets either misconstrued or drawn out to the most absurd reality possible.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people will be exaggerating stuff and taking it out of context, but, you know, I feel like you should still be defending yourself to, you know, try to debunk some of what's being said. We'll see how the investigation goes, I suppose. Anyways, back to legal mindset here. He talks about if Destiny actually has a duty to not delete the material, right? Because that's what Destiny was arguing. And I feel like the answer is pretty obvious here.
From my court cases, the 60 gigabyte screenshot was read to a claim that Rose made, someone whose name and birthday have yet to be reliably confirmed. Well, I think that's where the problem is. It seems like that indeed has been confirmed, according to sources out there. And if those sources are correct, if those sources have indeed pulled up the right information, then it appears that if that is confirmed, that would indeed be CSAM. So he may be asserting that it's not based on a mistake of fact, which we'll talk about today. However, that can entirely change things legally. So Destiny, when he said he has a legal duty, you know, and listen up, Destiny fans, Destiny is right about that. But however, pause, he's sort of right about that. And he's forgetting about all those other duties that are out there and all those other responsibilities. He's forgetting about privilege. And this is where I think he did not talk to his lawyer, because if his lawyer knew he was going to have this conversation, he would have certainly said no, because it made his job a living hell.
Right. So basically the issue is a little more complicated because he's in a court case and, you know, his lawyers are telling him to keep this stuff. You know, it could be spoliation of evidence, etc. But I feel like, you know, in a non-lawyer brain, in a just commonsensical manner, it's like if you have any suspicion, you automatically sort of delete and burn that shit. Obviously, you should consult your legal counsel. And if you think they sound fucking stupid, then consult more legal counsel, right? But yeah, the problem here is that even in the absolute best case scenario where this person was over 18 and Destiny did not know and everything, he still is being extremely fucking creepy and we're having this weirdo behavior. In the past, there's also been clips of him saying that, oh yeah, a 19-year-old is the same as a 15-year-old to me. You know, it's all like, you know, they're way too young or whatever. So it's a lot. It's just very weird for, you know, someone in their 30s to be going after someone who starts with the 1, you know, whose age starts with the 1. I'm just saying. Right. So after this, legal mindset talks about attorney-client privilege and candor to tribunal. Basically, should Destiny's own lawyer be reporting this stuff? If he knew that Destiny is in possession of this material, is it his job to actually report him?
So let's talk about candor to the tribunal. A lot of people know about attorney-client privilege if you watch Breaking Bad, but you actually need to balance what's called candor to the tribunal, which means confidentiality is on one side and candor to the tribunal, the court, on the other side. You have to be honest with the court. As a lawyer, you can't lie to the court. If you know you are lying, you cannot do that. So there is a duty to report facts, such as criminal behavior, criminal conduct, or fraudulent conduct. So if you only suspect something, you don't have to report that. But if you actually know it, if you know it's true, you're like, I know this as a fact, you do have to report that. So the problem is, are you seeing the problem here? This moved from something his lawyer may have suspected because we do or don't know this person's age to, oh yeah, this person was factually underage. Therefore, this is factually CSAM. That completely changes the dynamic from something the lawyer might not have to report because he doesn't know one way or another to something he'd say, well, now we've got to talk about this. Now we've got to disclose this to the court. It's a mandatory disclosure. It's no longer an elective disclosure. That's a problem. That's a big problem for the lawyer.
Right, so my guess here is that I highly doubt the lawyer is going to get into any legal trouble here. In all likelihood, they are obviously very well versed in the law and would likely make the right move in whatever scenario they were in, right? And if they were uncertain, as Legal Minds has said, they have no obligation to report it. Maybe they weren't informed of the full story, etc., etc. That's an issue for them to deal with, obviously. Being Destiny's lawyer gotta be one heck of a client, that's for sure. Now, all the while this is happening, Hassan is absolutely ecstatic, Destiny being an arch nemesis of Hassan. Luckily, we don't take sides here. I've said in multiple videos in the past, Destiny is a massive degen, like 100 times, I've disavowed this guy. So this is why you don't take sides, all right? Because they always have some weird skeletons in their closet, and it seems like we're slowly learning the extent of how far that goes. So then Legal Mindset talks about Destiny's intent with, preserving this sort of material.
Destiny argues that he lacked the mens rea, right? He lacked the intent to commit the crime because he had an honest and reasonable misunderstanding of a factual circumstance at the time of the act. That's the defense of mistake of act. This is a defense that comes up particularly to specific intent crimes. So the best example was, let's say you had a very expensive jacket. Let's say it's a designer jacket, and you picked up a jacket you're in a place that's cold, so you have to put when you come in the winter, you put your jackets up front and you take somebody else's jacket. You take their expensive jacket. It's not yours. Well, that's a true mistake of fact. You did not know it was identical. It was a genuine, honest mistake. It's a reasonable mistake, a reasonable, regular person can make. You're not going to go to jail for that. Typically, that's only for certain types of crimes. So there are certain types of crimes called strict liability. So most, but not all, criminal charges related to CSAM are strict liability. And what that means is, with strict liability means your state of mind does not matter. So your specific intent does not matter.
Okay, so that is an interesting distinction. Basically, in these type of cases involving this type of material, your intent doesn't actually matter. So even if you thought that you were potentially doing the right thing here by preserving this material, thinking that it's helping this case or whatever, apparently that just doesn't matter, right? Simply possessing this stuff is just not allowed, it seems, if that is indeed the case. Now, this is completely different from other scenarios, as he pointed out, like accidental theft or whatnot. That is obviously much more petty and, can be forgiven or whatever. This is much more serious. We're talking about some real degenerate shit here. So then he talks about Destiny's defenses and whether they will fly in court.
So, of course, there's two main ones he might bring up. The first one is, of course, not having intent, and that would block anything with specific intent. So saying, hey, I genuinely believe this person was an adult, not a child, and argue I don't have the intent to possess or distribute. So a lot of the possession or distribute statutes might involve some specific intent to distribute. So, okay, I don't have the intent to distribute, so it's not going to be a distribution charge. The other one is negating the element regarding child. So there's usually language saying, okay, this is a child. So even if it doesn't require specific intent, it requires that person be a child. So if you say, hey, I honestly didn't believe they were a child, you would negate that element of the crime, even if it isn't specific intent. I know it sounds complicated, but it's just taking out that one little piece. Once again, not guaranteed, not foolproof, not something you can necessarily get away with.
Yeah, fellas, just some life advice here. Never get into a situation where you even have to argue the defense here, right? This is just a completely losing battle, because even if you win, you have lost, okay? Because at the best, you're a massive creep, right? So yeah, absolutely insane story here. We'll have to see how it plays out. It depends on the investigation by the police and all of that. Destiny has been actually reported to the authorities. Now, I don't like to draw conclusions myself, even if it looks blatantly obvious or anything like that, because why bother? I'll leave it up to the law enforcement or a judge if it actually gets to that. But anyways, here is the lawyer's conclusion of the situation and his final advice to Destiny.
So my conclusion is Destiny is certainly now under criminal scrutiny. Absolutely. There's been a report. So law enforcement is looking into it, absolutely, without a doubt. And this is in addition to his civil case. So this has gone from something that is purely civil to something that is now potentially criminal. He gains nothing debating with people on the internet. Arguing with me doesn't really help. The only thing that helps is to fully disclose information to his lawyer, stop talking, definitely don't give any other interviews, and possibly engage a specialist lawyer. But even doing all that, there's no guarantee, and Destiny is certainly in for a very bumpy ride.
Yeah, I gotta say, bumpy ride is a very innocent way of putting it, but it really seems like Destiny completely screwed himself over by just talking to so many people about his whatever life situations and things going on. I'm guessing for some reason he trusted Willie Maxshow, but even if this was your most trusted confidant, if they thought it was something illegal, I assume they'd want to do something about it, right? And they would sort of panic, right? But yeah, two things to take away here. You gotta shut your yapper and don't message people that are, you know, super young who 100 billion% confirm their age, you know? Moving on to the Ethan Destiny beef. Ethan Klein asked Destiny fans to leave his community. Destiny literally told Willie Mack on record that he has his material unambiguously, full confession. And why the frick is he accepting nudes from people so young they live with their parents, have braces, and do homework? After that, anyone defending Destiny is lost, and I would be a total hypocrite not to call him out entirely. This is something I've always passionately stood against, and what Destiny has done is pretty much as bad as anything I've seen, period. I have no desire to further litigate this. If you have any inkling of desire to defend Destiny, I can promise you this is not the right community for you. Sorry, you can all leave. I'm right. Alright, so he's disavowed all of the Destiny fans from his community. Destiny responds to Ethan Klein's request that Destiny fans leave his community. Me, after smashing the post button on my last Instagram story, I don't post on X directly because it's too toxic, so I limit myself to 25 stories a day about X posts, and then stumbling into some free snacks for my kids, and it's a guy stepping in, I assume dog shit. Yeah, again, he's just going completely, you know, scorched earth here. Ethan responds, Steven, you are a very smart and very funny guy. Okay, interesting. I've been following your career for a long time, since you were cleaning carpets in between StarCraft 2 games. Wait, I swear Ethan said he didn't know of Destiny before. Alright, man. I saw you transition to streaming full time, which as someone who was also working a 9 to 5, I found really inspiring. It was soon after that I took the same chance on myself, inspired in part by you to become a full-time creator. No way. You're telling me Ethan was inspired by Destiny? Dude, you had the worst fucking inspiration ever. Later on, I came around to your political streaming content, a genre you pioneered. You've had such a long and accomplished career that anyone would be extremely proud of. I'm genuinely sad about the great potential that you had and what was thrown away because vices took over your life. Okay, I will say Destiny has a very sort of hedonistic lifestyle, and he seems like a bit of a sociopath in general. Not particularly regarding this situation. I'm just talking in general of like, you know, these open relationships, this cuck type shit, just, I don't know, just a bit degenerate for me. As a parent, you know the implications and ramifications of chatting with a 15-year-old. Okay, so now he's talking about another entirely different scenario.
Here are some clips of Destiny doubling down on his attraction to this 15-year-old in a debate with someone named Mr. Medicare.
Of course, of this chat log, I was talking with a bunch of other esports guys, and we were basically talking about how crazy the fucking jailbait is in the gaming communities. It's ridiculous. I think I said something along the lines of like, there are 15-year-old chicks that are like hot as fuck that will like try to send you pictures to like you at events and shit, and it's like you have to be really careful when you navigate that.
So what is the admitting to jerking off to 15-year-olds then? What is that in relation to?
I never admitted to jerking off. I think I just said like this. I think the log is something like this 15-year-old chick was trying to send me, or was sending me pictures of herself, and she was hot as fuck. It's like really hard to like turn down some of these people. I think.
Wait,
I said
how old was she?
She said she was 15.
So you did get pictures from a 15-year-old?
Not nudes though. Sorry, I should specify. I think a couple pics of her like at the beach or some shit. But
in swimwear?
Yeah.
So you're getting swimwear pics from 15-year-olds?
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. This shit is crazy. Shit is fuck.
So in these clips, he says that some 15-year-olds are hot as fuck. And he admits to sharing a picture of this 15-year-old in a bikini to his friends. So is Destiny a pedophile? Well, he admitted that he finds some 15-year-olds hot as fuck, and he sent his friends a picture of a 15-year-old in a bikini because he found her so attractive.
Dude, I can't believe what some people have admitted on the internet out of their own volition, dude. Oh my god, what is going on? You know how a teenager looks up to adults they admire and how easily they can be manipulated? The time for irreverent jokes is over. You need help. This is a long pattern of sexual deviancy with teenagers. I hope you take the time to understand what inside you is missing and why that would urge a grown man to flirt with a 15-year-old. I'm not taking any pleasure in all of this. It's all very sad. I do hope you find the help and peace you need because children deserve better. Oh my god. Yeah, well, they're really going for each other's throats here. Destiny responds, you need help. I'm clapping and crying. You learned more from Hassan than he could have ever hoped. And now we've come full circle on the Snark train. I hope CPS can save your children before the worms turn them into RFK clones. Gas bag. Oh my god. Here's a couple more stories from Ethan. The coping from Destiny's community is not making a lot of sense to me. Didn't he confirm to Willie Mac 3 times that he has news of a 17-year-old on his compound? That was communicated unambiguously. What am I missing? Destiny fans, here is the issue. You say nobody knows for sure if she was 17 when the nudes were exchanged. The fact that Destiny even put himself in the position to receive naked photos of a minor, even inadvertently, is a massive problem. This man clearly exploits his vulnerable fans for gratification. He was 33 at the time she was 17 or 18. How can anyone defend this? Well, I feel like the issue here is nobody's denying that Destiny is a weirdo creep. They're just arguing as to what extent is it. Is it illegal? Is it a regular weirdo creep? Is it, yeah. So then you got to be very careful when you say the details of it. Of course, you got to mention that, you know, these are allegations and, you know, they've been reported to the police and they are doing their own investigation. Ethan responds, you're saying he knew it might have been a minor and his lawyer told him to preserve the images to protect himself, which means that he knew there's a chance it was the material. His lawyer absolutely did not tell him to hold on to potential material. That never happened unless his lawyer is Jared Fogle. Possessing material is a crime, period, unless you are a Fed doing an investigation. There is no such thing as hanging onto material just in case. It's just not a thing. Yeah, this situation is so unbelievably messy, and I feel like at the end of the day, the optics for a lot of the people involved here are just really bad. So Destiny says, insane to see the guy spamming lawsuits at people, reading a totally unrelated set of DMs, pretending they were to be the same person. I've never contacted the Rose person on Instagram at any point in my life, but this guy and his Sound Suck Up crew were just chuckling along as they read off leaked revenge PP of me, very high moral standards, I guess, or just desperately trying to cater the audience. But then he counters saying, is the claim that the DMs are yours, but with someone other than Rose? Do you deny having a 17-year-old's pictures on your computer? It's so tiring when someone who's been vilified and lied about as much as Ethan falls for some obviously fake DMs. I'm trying to be open-minded. If I got anything wrong, please tell me with evidence. I'll immediately correct and retract. So far, I cannot find a single thing that corroborates anything you're saying. Destiny literally admitted to Willie Mac saying that he has material of a 17-year-old. Nowhere did Destiny deny this was Rose. Actually, the opposite. He essentially confirmed that it's her during a convo. DMs from Destiny and her are horrific as well. You say they're fake, but what is your evidence? They're part of the original leak, but everything else in that leak was true, but just not this one thing. And I don't really care about invading his privacy when it comes to a 33-year-old having and keeping content on his computer. That's just a straight up crime. What am I missing? Meanwhile, we got to talk about the main character, of course, the superhero, Hassan. He is absolutely ecstatic about this situation. His one of his main ops is getting exposed. And what does he do? Instead of taking the free dunk on Destiny, he tries to make it about himself.
I mean, I don't think that Willie Slopshow actually gives a f about anything. I'll be honest with you. I think he's a mercenary, and I think he's just reading the room and realizing that this is a sinking ship that he must jump, because he was like actively defending and sweeping for him for Destiny for quite a while. He has utilized Destiny's community to make multiple fairly successful videos on people like myself and many other enemies of Destiny. He is definitely a fixture of that slop tuber community that we talk about. Like, these guys literally looked at Israel's genocide of the Palestinian population and thought, this is a great opportunity for us to farm some drama clicks.
Okay, again, just super ironic coming from Hassan. How is this guy going to argue that he hasn't profited off the genocide, bro? You talk about it all the time. It is riling up your audience extremely emotionally, making them donate to you as well, thinking they're helping some war in the Middle East. Second off, I can't believe I have to say this, but Destiny being a massive weirdo creep doesn't automatically make anyone that criticized you wrong. Like, the points can still stand, and a lot of the other people involved are not weirdo creeps. So I don't know. I feel like two things can exist at once. You're still a piece of shit, bro. I hope you realize that this situation does not exonerate you at all.
For God's sake, why couldn't Destiny just not be like this? Bro, I made all these pro Destiny videos with my face in them. This should be a wake-up call for a lot of people in his cult. This should be a wake-up call for a lot of his orbiters that maybe everything he was saying was a fucking lie from the start. If he always operated this way and you found him to be a charismatic figure, perhaps you were deluded into shaping your worldview around the personal vendettas of a maniac. And I know that cult deprogramming takes a lot of effort.
Oh my god, this fucking guy. No way he's talking about cult deprogramming. The guy who's practically leading a cult himself of devout followers who listen to his every will. You can't be serious, man. Like, he's legitimately, he's gotta know. He's gotta be like turning off the stream and then going to bed at night just secretly giggling to himself like, I can't believe I'm rage baiting everyone, dude. Like, holy shit. You have the easiest, the absolute easiest slam dunk in history to just dunk on Destiny or even talk about him being weird or whatever. Instead, you somehow find a way to make yourself look stupid. Somehow you make it about yourself. Yes, every criticism against me is actually wrong, guys, because Destiny bad, guys. And everybody's a Destiny orbiter, apparently. That's just how it works, right? You're pathetic. You're actually pathetic. You can't even take the free W, dude. Anyways, moving on to Hassan talking about his travel plans. Hassan had to cancel his trip to Cuba in fear of getting arrested. I did cancel the trip. I don't want to go to prison. Interesting.
I did cancel the Cuba trip, yes, because I didn't want to go to prison. And unfortunately, he's going to run. He won't do it. No, he'll do it. But we're locked in. What's the context behind you saying U.S. deserved 9/11? It's very simple. American foreign policy and intervention in the region directly caused blowback and led to 9/11.
Yeah, very, very simple explanation, guys. Just, you know, the innocent people just deserve to die. That's what it is. Very simple, actually. Also, what the heck is this? You don't want to go to prison? Really? Have some conviction, bro. Apparently, Hilo should go to prison by refusing mandatory service. All these people should go to prison, but he won't do it himself. Anytime he has to step up himself, nah, bro. Nah, I'm too scared. I don't want to go to prison. First, you're like, I'm gonna go to Gaza, guys. Bragged about it to your friends, and then you're like, well, it's actually kind of dangerous. Like, dude, come on.
Dude, I might actually take Marsh with me to Gaza.
Gaza?
Yeah.
Is it dangerous?
Yeah.
Yes. I unfortunately most likely will not be able to go.
Is it dangerous?
Yeah.
Yes. The people that I did talk to said that they could not give me security assurances.
Is it dangerous?
Yeah.
Yes. Have some conviction.
This is the on-the-ground reporter, by the way. You can't be serious. You can't be serious. Anyways, that's about it. Now, click this video or you become a totally online streamer, man. Holy. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.